Hello students, welcome to my YouTube channel Divya SINGHI'S Socio Lab. So class 10 students, we are going to start very interesting topic today, that is power sharing. Okay, so let's start. I'm sharing my screen with all of you now. I hope screen is visible to all my students. Okay, let's start. So children, we are starting this chapter power sharing. It's part of democratic politics class 10 NCERT chapter 1. Okay, let's start. So now student, first of all, you should know what is power sharing. In a democracy, power does not rest with one organ of government. Okay, it is shared. So power sharing, as the name only suggests, is power sharing is sharing of power. Suppose if I speak about the organs of government, power is shared among legislature, executive and judiciary. So power sharing means that in a democracy, power does not rest in one hand. It is distributed. Power is shared. Okay, so here we have example of the different organs of government where power is shared among legislature, executive and judiciary. Okay, so power sharing means when power is distributed and power is shared. Okay, so this is what called power sharing. Now, students, we are going to understand two case studies. Okay. So, first is Belgium. Okay. So, students, Belgium is a small country in Europe. It has borders with France, Netherlands, Germany, and Luxembourg. Okay. It has a population around 1 crore. Okay. Now, students, here I'm going to speak about the language communities there. Okay. So, if I speak about Belgium, so there are Dutch speaking who live in Flemish region and they are 59% in number. If I speak about French speaking, they live in Wallonia region. They are 40% in number. And the remaining are the German speaking. They are like 1%. Okay, so this is the case of Belgium where we have majority of Dutch speaking. Clear? Now, if I speak about Brussels, okay, the capital city, it has 80% French speaking and 20% Dutch speaking. So here in Brussels, we have majority of French speaking. Okay. So that's very important. Now, actually, as the Dutch speaker, they were majority in Belgium and minority in capital city. This caused like a deep tension between the two communities during the year 1950s and 60s. Okay. Now we'll again come to Belgium in some time. Before coming to Belgium, we are going to understand a bit about Sri Lanka. Okay, so Sri Lanka is an island nation, student, a few kilometers off Tamil Nadu's southern coast. Okay, it has a population around 2 crore and very rich in cultural diversity. Now, if I speak about Sri Lanka, 74% were Sinhala speaker and they were mostly Buddhist. Now, 13% were Sri Lankan Tamil. They are like the native of the country and mostly Hindus and Muslim. 5% were Indian Tamils whose forefathers come from India as plantation workers during colonial period. Okay. 7% Christians, both Tamil and Sinhala, and remaining 1% around. They were others, or we can say Muslims. Okay. So this is about Sri Lanka. Now, students, we are going to understand about a very important problem which took place in Sri Lanka because of the diverse background. Okay, now I'm going to tell you about very important concept called majoritarianism in Sri Lanka. You know what is the meaning of majoritarianism? A belief that the majority community should be able to rule a country on like wherever like however they want they'll rule because they are in majority they'll rule the country however they want. So students, if I take you to the previous slide, who were in majority? Who were in majority? See the slide. Sinhala speakers. they were in majority. So now they followed the path of majoritarianism. Okay, so students, Sri Lanka got independence around the year 1948. Okay, where Sinhala community saw dominance through government policies. You know what happened, students? In 1956, one act was passed according to which Sinhala was declared the official language, and this disregarded Tamil. Okay, and later they followed the preferential policies favoring Sinhala applicants only for all the university and government job. Okay, and even when the new constitution was framed, and it fostered Buddhism. Okay, so basically, students, the Sri Lankan Tamil, they felt like students, they felt like they are alone. Okay, because all the rights, all the important rights are in the hand of Sinhala people. Okay, so this created a demand for autonomy, and this resulted in civil war around the year 1983, which continued till 2009, and it killed thousands. Okay, and many families got displaced because the policies which were framed, they were like in favor of one community, and it disregarded the other community. Okay, that is why the civil war took place. Now, as I told in the starting, I'll come again to the model of Belgium. Now, this is what Sri Lanka done, okay, which resulted in civil war and killed thousands, right? Now, if I speak about the model of Belgium, okay, you know, between the 1970 and 1993, Belgium amended its constitution 4 times, and they created a unique power sharing model. So, according to the Belgian constitution, the first thing, equal Dutch and French speaking minister in central government. So they basically focused on equality, where equal Dutch and French speaking ministers in central government. Okay, and even children's special laws need majority of both linguistic group. Okay, now students, the second thing about the Belgium model, many powers transferred to state government, okay, of the two regions. So students, basically state governments are not the subordinate to central government. And student, Brussels, if I speak about Brussels, they has its own government where both communities have equal representation. Okay, and other than central and state, there was one third government which was community government. Okay, it's a three-tier elected by language community. Okay, and basically language community include Dutch, French, and German, with power over culture, education, and language issues. So, students, you can see the Belgium government, the Belgium model of constitution. Okay, so they basically focused on equality, right? Not like Sri Lanka, where the civil war only happened. So, here I gave a comparison of the Belgium and Sri Lanka model, where Belgium recognized cultural and regional differences. They amended the constitution 4 times for that. They shared power across the three government level, and they avoid any kind of civil war, etc. And they chosen the headquarter of the European Union. But if I compare Belgium with Sri Lanka, Sinhala majority imposed its will, and they followed the policy of majoritarianism, and Tamil people demanded the autonomy, which resulted in civil war and killed many. Okay, so this is the comparison of the sharing of power happened between Belgium and Sri Lanka. So, students, according to you, which model is better? Right? Belgium model is better, right? 100%. Yes, where powers was shared equally. Now, student, why power sharing is desirable? It is desirable because of two reasons, prudential and moral. Okay, so children, prudential reason means it is based on careful calculation of gain and losses. So, student, prudential reason why power sharing is important, because it reduces the possibility of conflict between social group. Okay, and students, very importantly, imposing the will of majority community over others may look like an attractive option, but in long run, it undermines the unity of the nation. Okay, and tyranny of the majority is not just oppressive for minority, but it is also for majority. That is why power sharing is important. And students, if I speak about moral reason, power sharing actually is the very spirit of democracy. Okay, and people have the right to be consulted on governance, and citizens gain a stake through participation. That is why students power sharing is desirable. I hope that's clear. Now, children, four forms of power sharing. If I speak about horizontal distribution, power is shared among different organs. That is legislature, executive, and judiciary. You know what is legislature, students? Legislature means who make laws. Executive means who execute the law. And judiciary means who safeguard the laws. So that is the horizontal distribution of power sharing. Now, students, if I speak about vertical distribution, it is that power is shared among different levels of government, like state government, central government, and local government, which includes panchayat and municipality. So this is also called federal division of power, which we have in India also. Okay, now the third form of power sharing is power is shared among social groups. Social group can be religious or linguistic. Okay, so now you remember we also spoken about the community government, which is the third form of government. That is also one of the part, one example. Now power is also shared among political parties. Okay, so sometimes students, what happen if the one party do not get clear majority, they make coalition with other party. Okay, so that they can come into power. Okay, so student coalition government is one of the example of how power is shared among political parties. Okay, so these are the different form of power sharing. I hope that's clear, children. So this was your full chapter power sharing, students. I hope that's clear. So now, children, I want to thank all of you for watching. Okay, and students, I want to tell very important thing. If any topic you have not understood, I want you to write in the comment section. So, and that topic I re-explain. Okay, I hope that's clear. Till then, students, stay tuned, stay connected, and don't forget to subscribe my channel, Divya Singh's Social Lab. Thank you, children. I meet you in the next class. Thank you.